Okay, yeah, good evening everyone. I'm Mike Hedinger, Deputy Chair of the North Canberra Community Council, and it seems that I need to act as a chair at the moment, but can't get away from it. We have a presentation on Dickson on Northbourne, and I might just hand it straight over to you if you can introduce yourselves and
I'm Peter Vanderbilt. Thank you very much for giving us the opportunity to come around tonight. We are a local town planning firm, and we got engaged by the art group with Brett and Rob. It's all looking at the Dickson on Northbourne site and the future use and development thereof. We started the round of committee consultation last week. We had a first night with members of the community. We asked to have an opportunity to go have a discussion with you really early days. The site was purchased a couple of months ago, and we're really just in the first sort of throes of starting to look at the site and working up towards a bit of a master plan. I think I'll kick over to you, Brett.
Yeah, my name is Brett Smith, and echo Peter's sentiments. Thank you very much for your time tonight. Thanks for having us along. I represent the art group, the proponent, the purchaser of the land, the developer, whatever you want to call us. Having the entire estate, the entire site under our control. And there's a bit of a process around how we need to deliver the site, which we'll go into in a moment for your information and understanding. But I'll let Rob just give you a little intro to himself.
Good evening, I'm Rob Morton. I'm with Cox Architecture, and it's always a pleasure.
I think I should move around here. See, people are going to be coming in and they'll probably want to sit there and look at the...
Sure.
Yeah. So, no, why don't you guys...
Sorry.
What can I say? Good try. Just stay where you are. I'm just noticing what's happening and everything's 180 degrees.
Well, you know, people will come in, but we think we should just press on and join in the conversation.
Yeah.
And I mean, this is a conversation, and that's probably why we don't have a formal electronic presentation. This is just some material which we presented for last week's broader community drop-in consultation session. But it's always a pleasure to sit down and talk to people about what it is we're doing, because we're passionate about what we do. This particular site along Northbourne, we have been, in terms of our role, working as planners with the government to sort of understand what would be appropriate for this site and the site across the road. Obviously, it was delivered back in the 60s as a precinct by Anchor Bully, way back then. And so it's a pretty prominent site which has a number of things happening around it in the next 5 or so years, with the Northbourne corridor and the rail, or tram, or whatever you like to call it, happening down through the site. So as I said, we'll hand back to Peter and Brett to take you through the process, but I welcome any thoughts that you've got for this session.
Yeah, thanks, Rob. So just for your information, we went out to, as soon as we acquired the site, we went out to a local design competition. We invited some local architects to participate in a concept master plan arrangement. We went through and scrutinised the submissions and awarded Cox the master planning work. So what we're going to show you tonight is effectively part of that submission in terms of how we determined that the best approach to the site. The planning approach to this one is a little unique in that the Northbourne corridor guidelines have been out in somewhat of a draft form prior to the election, and I'm sure that you would have had a chance to have a look at those and maybe make some comments back to the Territory. That document hasn't yet evolved to the point of being publicly available for any further comment. So it's actually evolved in terms of the work done behind it, but it's not yet been through the Minister's office such that it can come out to the broader community, and including ourselves. So effectively, the way that the Territory are approaching the site with us, in the absence of some of that detail, is to have a master plan exercise run. So we have to produce a master plan that's going to be fully consulted with the community and with the Territory and stakeholders, including the National Capital Authority. have to get pre-endorsement effectively for what we propose in that master plan prior to moving into an estate development plan arrangement, of which again has to be fully consulted with the stakeholders, all of the elements within the territory in terms of their asset acceptance roads and those types of entities. That then has to be endorsed by the territory before we can lodge that, which then goes through its normal circulation process, through a normal DA process. So there's quite a bit of consultation, quite a bit of work we have to do with the territory, which is not normally how you might see some of these proponent schemes come through. And I suppose that's in recognition of the prominence of the scheme. One of the first ones to go out as a large parcel of land, and something that the territory is very keen, as are we, as our consultants, to do something reasonably special with. There's also, as you would have seen, on the opposite side of the road, Lynham on Northbourne is now in the market. So some similar processes, I would assume, you will see on that side. In due course, I don't think that's due to close until March, so they're probably 5 or 6 months behind us. So what we will show you through today is just where we got to with this concept master plan. I will stress that this is completely conceptual. This is there's nothing more developed at the back end. There's not a cut or a yield or a mix or a number of uses that we've progressed to resolving. We're still in very early discussions with the territory and a number of those stakeholders about what it is that they want to see on the corridor, how they want to see it delivered, and in what sort of timeframes. So this is all part of that very early discussion, and as Peter said, we'd be very happy to take some comments, and we will no doubt distill those back into our next round of consultation, which, for your information, is on the 15th of December, down at the Pavilion. So we had a first round of consultation there, which was a drop-in session. We'll do another one that will show a little bit of evolved process and some more resolution in terms of the planning work at that session. We will set up a website that will give you all of this information. Anything that we've provided to the community we'll publish publicly. And we'll set up that website such that we can take comments and set up a repository of information and comments back, so that Canberra Town Panning can make something of that in terms of the consultation report. So for those who can't quite see, feel free to step up. I'll sort of talk generally to the drawings, just so that you get a bit of context. This is essentially a set of drawings that Cox worked through to get, I suppose, a conceptual master plan or a rhythm on the site. For those who aren't quite sure or orientated, Northbourne runs up and down the page, so each of these are exactly the same plan. So Northbourne is up the page, and Morford Street running across the top effectively, so that the light rail down the side there. The site is set up in 3 different blocks. Essentially they work something like about that one, and that one, and the territory are asking us to settle those progressively over the course of 3 years, with that one being June 17, June 18 and June 19. And that one is being preserved solely at the moment for use by the proponent in delivering the light rail corridor. So that's their site shed set effectively.
That's helping.